Hey everybody, this is Adam Peterson from TeachersLearn2.com, and this is episode number 16 of Teachers Talk 2. Let's get to it right now. Hey guys, welcome back to Teachers Talk 2. Tonight's episode is not going to be a lot of me talking. I don't know if you like that or not, but it's not going to be, because you're in for a treat. Tonight I'm going to talk for just a little bit, and then you are going to get to see an interview that I did with Kayla Delzer of Top Dog Teaching. If you have not been to Kayla's blog or website, do yourself a favor, go check it out, topdogteaching.com. You can see it below. Kayla is an amazing educator and just spews positivity. And Kayla and I set up an interview because we both have a lot of the same values when it comes to education. Our teaching styles seem a lot alike, but Kayla is a second grade teacher. I reached out to her first because she has done a TEDx talk, and I'm in the process of applying to do a TEDx talk. That's big news that I'll share another time. Kayla did a TED talk in Fargo on her classroom and the way it's arranged and seating and all that. Go check it out on YouTube. TEDx Fargo, Kayla Delzer. You're going to love that talk that she did. She's a columnist for EdSurge. She's a second grade teacher. She started Happy Classrooms with Greg Smedley-Warren that I talked about in a previous episode. She runs the Greg and Kayla show with Greg. This woman does it all, on top of being an amazing educator. So the whole reason that this channel was started for you guys was to share educational ideas. And I know I've kind of gotten away from the educational videos like I used to do. We're going to get back into more of those because I know people have been requesting to see more tutorials on the smart board and TV and different games around the classroom. So I am going to start filming more of those. But this channel was started as a way for people to share things socially. And I have to give a huge shout out tonight to my friend Matt Beck of FreeSalonEducation.com. Matt has been a friend of mine since high school, grade school I guess. We used to play in bands together. So the reason I'm mentioning him tonight is because I reached out to Matt a while back and I wanted to talk to him about what he was doing because I wanted to do the same thing for teachers. He just mentioned me on his last episode and that process, and I've taken a lot of ideas from Matt, and I can't thank him enough for sharing those ideas with me. And we've never looked at it as copying off of each other or me taking his ideas, because he's one of those guys that just wants to coach people. And I've been that way. I've helped some other people start some things in their classrooms. People have reached out to me through videos and Facebook to ask for ideas. And I think that's something as educators that we need to remember. We are here, no matter what your field of education, you're here to share those ideas with teachers around you. So, anything that you see on here, take it and run with it. We're here to share ideas socially. That's what the social network is all about. And that's why education is what it is today, because of all these networks that I've been able to create, or we have been able to create with other teachers. So I can't thank Matt, Greg, Kayla, all these people that I'm able to, to bounce ideas off of enough, because this channel has become what it is because of those people. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Keep sharing your ideas, everyone. It's worked for me. It's going to work for you too. So let's get into why we're here tonight. Like I said, I reached out to Kayla because I want to do a TED Talk. So Kayla and I talked a lot about that in our interview. I don't want to talk too much more about it. So without further delay, here is Kayla Delzer from TopDogTeaching.com. I hope you enjoy this. Stick around and watch it. Here you go.
Let's just talk about you first. Tell me a little about yourself.
Okay, so I'm a second grade teacher with West Fargo Public Schools in West Fargo, North Dakota. And I also am a speaker and consultant. I work for SDE. I'm a presenter for them too. So I keep really busy, which is good. My biggest project recently was my TEDx talk. That was this last summer, and then it got released. I think it was in October it got released. So, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit too. But it's funny because even like the beginning of last year, I was like, oh, like if I could ever do like a TEDx talk, like that'd be like crazy. Like right. I'm always like, what's the next big like crazy thing I can do? And like when I saw like TEDx Fargo was coming, it was like getting closer. Like the closer it got, the more I was like, I need to do this. Like I'm gonna do this. Like it's crazy. I need to do this. And so it was a really unique process, and it was really cool. It was such an honor to be able to do that. That was a crazy honor. So cool.
Awesome. I watched yours at home one day. So what was that process like? Like, because I'm just in the beginning phase. I just read about it. I emailed the whatever you call it, the creator here around. He sent me the application link. but I really haven't started it. I'm kind of going over it.
I think like the submission link or like the audition it varies by different by different organizations. Sometimes they just select people. Sometimes you have to apply. It kind of depends. So like for me, I had a 2-minute audition, and it was it's a crazy experience for me because like usually when I go speak, I have my slides behind me, and it's usually like I know kind of what I'm going to say that's on that slide. But with my audition, there was no audio and no visual. So you literally just get on the stage. You can't have anything, no props. You just pitch your idea. Like, what's your idea worth spreading? And so I remember just like practicing. Like I have 2 minutes, and I had it all scripted out what I was going to say and like memorized. So I had my audition. And then mine was different. Like mine was like I won like the People's Choice. So like I got voted in because of my pitch. So like I had the most retweets and likes and things like that on Twitter. I won like the People's Choice, and that's how I got in, which was weird and cool and crazy.
Cool. Yeah.
And so that was kind of, but I don't know if they do that everywhere. Like another one of my friends is going to do it in Raleigh. She's applying. And so hers was like a 3-minute video, I think. And I think that's what's happening now again in Fargo. So, but once I got the spot, it was just crazy. Like my girlfriends here, we joke like life before TED and life after TED. And it was truly like that, like life before TED, like that summer, the weeks leading up. So they actually gave me like a team of people to work with. And I don't know if that happens everywhere, but I had a speaking coach. I had a slide deck designer. I had a script coach. I had just tons of people that worked with me, which was really cool. And it's a service that was available to everybody in TEDx Fargo, which was, I don't know if everybody used it or not. Like I sure did. Yeah. Just because it was so different. Like I kind of said, usually when I speak, I have my slides and I just talk about like what I know. It's not like I'm winging it because I know what I'm going to talk about on that slide, but it's not memorized. Wow. Where TEDx is like memorized. Like you work so hard. For me, every 10 seconds was memorized. Like I knew what I was going to say every 10 seconds. And so in like the week leading up to it, it almost got to the point where I was like so memorized that I was like, I'm just trying to be Kayla again. Like I'm just trying to be like myself. Like I don't want to look so polished that it doesn't seem natural. And so, I kind of had to go back a little bit because I was like memorized, but it's just different. And like for me, like even right now, I like talk with my hands a lot. It's kind of, and I like to move around. Like if you ever see me present, like I stand on chairs, I walk through the audience, like I talk with my hands a lot, and I have a lot of energy. And like TED is different. Like you have to stay on the dot. Like you can't walk around because the camera can't track you. So you have to stay on the dot, and you have to have your hands down, or else like if you're going to do a motion, it has to be like a big motion with your hands. So like I had to practice that, which seems silly. But I learned a lot about like how to be a good speaker from that, and so it's really helped me transfer it into all my other kind of like speaking and presenting that I do too. So it definitely took a lot of time to get where I got. It took a lot of time and a whole team of people that are really talented that helped me get that. So it was really unique and it was really cool, and like I'm dying to do another one now. Like I want to do another one. But it was a really good experience. So I would recommend it to anybody who has an idea worth spreading, to get it out there and just share it with the world, because there's a lot of really good ideas that just haven't been shared yet. So I think you should do it. I think you should definitely apply for sure.
Well, I love it. And I watched yours, and I think it's funny that you say it was all this lead up to, because watching it just looked, I mean, to compliment you, I guess, it looked, you know what I mean?
That's good.
Like you were like, okay, I gotta do this. So the practice.
Yes. And it was, what's crazy is like TEDx Fargo is the biggest TEDx event in the United States. So there was actually 1,800 people in the audience.
Oh my gosh.
1,800 people. Like, but what's funny is like the lights are so bright you can't see anybody in the audience, so it's like it doesn't matter. And then they give you I had 3 confidence monitors in the front, so one had the timer, one had my next slide, and then one had what was on the slide behind me. Okay. So like those are at my feet, and those were really helpful because I knew what was coming next. Like, and so it's good. It was a lot of prep that led up to that, but it was totally worth it. It was a really cool experience.
It was cool. So I know you talked a lot about your classroom in your TED Talk.
I did.
And the funny thing is I watched yours and I felt like and I mean this in a good way. Like I felt like yours was everything I've read. They're like be short, to the point, to the point, to the point. Mm-hmm. I feel like you did a good way of not being so short. Mm-hmm. Talked about everything regarding like moving education.
Yeah, so I got to have 5 points, and so one of my points was like reimagining your classroom, and even that section of my TED Talk now I feel is like outdated because my classroom now this year is so much better than it was last year, even because I'm implementing the flexible seating. I'm doing like the Starbucks for kids in here. I don't have. It's like looking around. It's very like homey, and like it doesn't look like a classroom anymore. Like I mean, it does to a point, but it looks very like Starbucks for kids, homey, and I don't have bulletin boards up. I have like framed pictures of my students, and
those are awesome. I want to do.
They're really cool. They're really cool. So it's just very like it seems more like parents are dropping their kids off at a house than a school. So like if I did a TED Talk again, like I'd rather have the pictures of this than my last classroom, which my last classroom was really good too. I just think it's always part of like as educators, we're always learning and growing and changing, and so like I think that should always be a continual goal of ours, is just to get better every year and to learn from what we've done and make it even better if we can for kids. So I'm proud of what this classroom looks like. I was proud of that classroom last year too, though. So
did you move rooms, or you mean just the way you changed it?
I actually moved schools. So I'm in the same district, but I had the opportunity to help open a brand new school. So awesome. I moved from like a school up north in my district to a school down south in my district. So it's a different school, which I think that makes a difference. Like it's just a different room, and so it's just different than last year for sure.
All right. So Top Dog Teaching, how did that start?
Okay, so
I know everybody's got their own reasons for blogging, and
oh my goodness. So my blog started, I think it's 5 years old now, 6 years old now, I'm not sure. So my blog started because I was following, her name is Amy Lemons. Her blog is Step into Second Grade, and she's in Texas, and she was blogging and kind of sharing ideas in her classroom, and I was like, I like that. I think I'm going to start a blog. And I was like, I don't know if I can do it, though. I don't know if I have enough things worth sharing. Like, I don't know. I was really nervous. And then how it actually kind of started was, like, I saw her, but then I also had, like, a big old digital camera in my classroom that, like, every classroom got, like, a big digital camera. So I had all these pictures of my kids. And I was like, I think that parents want to see these pictures of their kids. So I'm going to start blogging these pictures of their kids and just writing kind of things that we're doing. And parents loved it. And then there was a teacher in Texas. It wasn't Amy. It was a different teacher. She found our blog. And I was like, oh my gosh, somebody found our blog. We have a follower. Like, we have a follower. I was so excited. And then I realized, like, oh my gosh, like it's becoming bigger than what I thought it was going to be. And so I started sharing more ideas, not only just about, like, for parents, but keeping in mind, like, that educators are now coming here to like to get better, to like see my ideas or whatever. So like at the end of the day now, like I used to, when I first blogged, like if you look at my stats, like with my blog, like when I first blogged, I was so good. Like I blogged like 2 or 3 times a week even, like, and they were not always big, like they might have been like short posts, but I was like, I am crushing this. Like I am blogging all the time. And then the next year I did it like once a week. And then the next year I did it like a couple times a month. And now I'm like, if I can pump it out like 6 times a year, I'm feeling really good. And that's like, it's become like this monster. Like it's got TPT freebies on there. I get booked out for conferences from there because my speaking menu is on there. There's a section about like what people say about me as a speaker. Like I pull tweets during my sessions and I put it on there. What else is on there? Video newsletters are on there. So it's kind of for parents, but it's also for like districts or conferences that are booking me, and it's also for teachers. And so it's kind of turned into this monster. But it started, I think 5 or 6 years ago, and like Top Dog Teaching came up because that's the year I got my first dog, and I was like, I love dogs. I'm gonna do Top Dog Teaching, and that's the whole reason behind it was like I just like dogs and I got a dog that year. And so like if I could do it all over again, I'd probably pick something different because like I'm so deep into that brand now that I can never change. Like I can never go back. Like it's funny, we joke, like I think I'm in two kind of different circles. Like I'm in like the ed tech circle, and those people know me as Kayla Delzer. And then I'm in like the TPT blogger circle, and those people know me as Top Dog Teaching. So like last summer I was at the TPT conference in Vegas, and there'd be people coming up, oh my gosh, that's Top Dog Teaching, and I'd be like, hey, what's up? Hello, nice to meet you, and you must be, and then I'd say like their blog name, but that doesn't happen at EdTech conferences. Like they know me as Kayla Delzer, and they might know I have a blog, Top Dog Teaching. Like it's just two different worlds kind of, and every once in a while they kind of like, connect a little bit. So
that's cool. So you're going to be in Vegas this summer, right?
Yeah, so this next summer, that's one of my SDE conferences. I have a whole day with them, so it's going to be packed, and I'm super excited. I get to talk classroom design, technology integration, formative assessment tools, lots of like a smorgasbord of different things. I think I have like 4 or 5 different sessions that day, and so that's in Las Vegas. That's the I Teach second conference, and that's in July.
Is that the same week as I Teach K or no?
Yeah, I think they actually kind of all go at the same time. Like they book out this huge casino, okay. And so I think like the I Teach K is on one floor, and then the first is on one floor, and then second. I think that's how it works.
I'm presenting K this year, so
yay! We will meet in real life.
There won't be a computer meeting. I'm a good friend with Kim Adsit. She's a big kindergarten presenter.
Yes.
Yeah. She kept telling me, get in with SDE, and that's the way to go. So I sent all my stuff last year, and then Kimra is my contact.
Yep, that's mine too.
Okay, she's awesome. Oh my God.
Really awesome. Mm-hmm.
She said, you come with good references from Kim Adsit and Kurt Schwangel, so we're going to put you in Vegas. And I'm like, all right. So
I'm going to Vegas, baby.
So I'm doing a full day too, Monday.
Awesome.
So yeah, I've done a lot of local conferences. This would be my first SDE. So I've done the Illinois Kindergarten Conference. I've done the Illinois Reading Conference, and then like school visits. But this will be my first big one.
Hey, I'm psyched. I'm super pumped for you. So I think my full day is actually Tuesday. So that'll be cool.
Okay, mine's Monday. So yeah. So
okay, so
I know you talked about like your classroom design and integration technology, but
So some specific things like I get requested. I used to always just get requested for iPads. Like iPads were new, and I knew how to do iPads, so that's what I got a lot of. Which I still get a lot of that, and I still take sessions like that, and I still consult for things like that. But like I always kind of push that it's bigger than the tool. Like what I'm coming to share is bigger than the tool. Like whether it's a Chromebook or an iPad, like the purpose of it is the same regardless of the tool. And so like I always share about that. So like I do iPads for elementary learners. Another favorite session I have is Bring the World to Your Classroom. So it's all about like virtual exploration and like global classrooms. And so that's really cool. There's actually someone sitting in observing today who got to see her first ever Google Hangout with somebody who was in Chicago. My kids were doing a Google Hangout with someone in Chicago, a superintendent there. And so they were like, she was like so excited to see it. And I was like, this is totally doable, right? And she's like, yeah. So I love that session because it's really cool just to kind of break down the 4 walls of your classroom and make your classroom go global. And that's something I talked about in my TED Talk too. But I also talk about, like, another thing I get requested a ton is social media in elementary classrooms, how to use it, how to set it up, who to follow, how to get parent permission, what do you share, what don't you share, how do you manage it? And so that's a session I get a ton of requests for. And actually, like, lately, one of my biggest ones has been classroom redesign, and that's all from that Starbucks article. So that's kind of spread like wildfire. Like wildfire. I'm just seeing that everywhere now, like flexible seating and Starbucks classrooms, and it's really cool. I get tagged in tweets almost daily from around the world of people who are redesigning their classrooms, which is really cool.
That's awesome.
So I have quite a menu of things that I talk about now. But it all started with just iPads, which is cool and crazy at the same time.
I was the same way. I did a tech one. Last year I did a writing one. I've self-published 4 children's books of my own. Like, just
wow.
fun. It has never become like a career. I don't want it to be. I want to be here,
Yeah.
So I do a talk on motivating young writers, and then that led to other people. And I was kind of like you. Like, people just started showing up. Like, I expected a room of like 5 people. And my first presentation was standing room only, and people were like, hey, that's Adam in the hallway. And I'm like, don't do that. Don't do that. I'm a teacher too. I'm Adam. I'm a teacher.
I know. I'm a teacher. I know. I had a whole interview with Edgy Road Trip, which was awesome. And the topic was life as an edgy celebrity. And my first thing was I am not an edgy celebrity. I think when we first start calling teachers edgy celebrities, we've lost the vision of what's really important, doing what's best for kids. And so that's funny that you had that experience, because that's the reality, which is, it's an honor and it's really cool, but always just keeping kids in mind. Yeah.
I remember laughing at my friend Katie. She runs a blog called Little Kinder Warriors.
Oh yeah.
At the IRC this year, and she's like, "Can I get a picture with you?" And I just looked at her and said, "Why?"
That's actually you had asked me some of my favorite conference moments. Some of my favorite conference moments are exactly that. The people who want to hang out afterwards to talk, or the people who are repeat attendees. They've heard me. One of my favorite ladies ever actually is kind of from around here, and she's heard me probably 5 times now, and she just keeps coming back. I love that. I love that she is still learning something every time. That's one of my favorite and most rewarding things. Also, just I always think that this is funny, but the people who come to listen and they choose to sit in the front row. I love those people. Those are my people. Thank you for choosing to sit here. It's not it was just the last seat and you're oh my gosh, I got to go up there. I love those people who sit up front. I'm Alex, what's your name? I love this. I'm going to get you some swag because you chose to sit up front. Thank you. I love that. Awesome. So
very cool. So what's next on your agenda?
Okay, so next on my agenda, I know you wanted to know about TPT, and TPT is 3rd on my list as far as all the things that's happening now. But so co-authoring a book with Jen Jones. We're hoping to have it published in December of this year, and it's kind of short, and it's a handbook for awesome 21st century teachers. We talk about, she's a Common Core standards guru, so she talks a lot about that and how to make them doable and how to implement them and how to know them inside and out. And I talk a lot about classroom design for 21st century teachers, and also technology integration in meaningful ways. And then also just we're finding all these little nuggets of things that we say all the time that we're starting to plug into the book. The best teachers teach students, not subjects, and just what does that mean? How do you do that? And so just best practices for 21st century teachers, and it's a short how-to book, and it's full of quotes and things that we use and resources, and so we're really excited about that. That's obviously our biggest project right now. So we joke because last year was life before TED and life after TED, and this year's life before the book, and then there'll be life after the book. But we're really excited, and that all kind of started with Jen last year. I was saying hey Jen, you should write a book, because after I heard her at SDA, I was you should write a book, because not everybody's going to be able to hear you speak, and you have such powerful messages. If you wrote a book, it could get to so many more people. You could make an even bigger impact. And I feel that's that mission. This mission that we're both on right now is just to make an impact in education. So if we think if we can go somewhere and make a difference, we're gonna do it. If it's gonna make teachers better or kids better, we're gonna do it. And so that's kind of where the book came from. I was Jen, you should write a book, because you're not going to be able to talk to every single teacher. It's just not a reality. No, and there's going to be people that want to hear you or need to hear you, but they just will never see you at a conference. They're never going to catch you. And so I was you should write a book. And she's you're ridiculous. You should write a book. And I was I'm not writing a book. No. And then she's let's co-author a book. And I was no, you're kidding. She's I'm really serious. We're going to do this. And I was all right. We're doing it. And so that was last summer, and it's come so far since then. But it's funny how these, that's my next big scary thing. I always say, if it's something that's scary, it's probably something good for you to try. And so the TED thing was very frightening. Good thing to try. Writing a book, super scary. Good thing to do. So that's my next big project. Also just keeping presenting and speaking and consulting. That keeps me really busy. Obviously my heart is still in the classroom, in the second grade classroom, and that's where I see myself still for a long time. This is where I feel most like myself, and where I'm making an impact. And at the same time, I go and speak to a room of 600 people, and I know I'm affecting 600 classrooms. So when I'm doing that, I'm this is my jam. I love this. And then I come back to my classroom with my kids, and I'm no, this is where my heart still is. So I kind of have the best of both worlds right now, that I get to work with other teachers, but I still get to have my second grade job, which is my second grade job is definitely where my heart and soul is. So those are kind of my biggest things coming up. I also am a columnist for edsurge.com, and so once a month I get to write in my column for them, which is really exciting. And so kind of the take of my whole column is like, it's kind of like intro to ed tech. So people who are wanting to just kind of like get going with ed tech things, but they're not really sure. They have dabbled, but they want the next step. So my next column is actually, my deadline's Sunday. So it'll probably get published like Monday or Tuesday after it goes through the editing with EdSurge, but it's all about why your social media accounts for your classroom should be student-led. So it talks about like the reasons that you should have student-led classroom accounts for social media. And then the next month is going to be about digital citizenship with those student-led accounts and kind of how I rolled that out. So it's been cool. The Starbucks article was my most recent column with them, I guess. So
very cool.
So I stay busy. I keep busy.
You're like, sure. Everyone tells me that I do way too much because I do the books and I do Teachers Learn Too and I do photography on the sides. I can't sit still. Like
no, I totally can't either. I can't even sit still like this half hour. So everyone's like, how do you even do it? I'm like, I just drink really a lot of coffee. It's how I roll. I drink a lot of coffee. I'm mostly with a lot of coffee. No.
Your attitude, your positivity towards this is why I started doing what I was doing.
Yay!
I don't know if you saw Greg and I's interview that we did where we talked about happy classrooms.
I did.
It was where we were both like, that came from you guys, and then I kind of jumped on board with it because
perfect. We love that.
Gosh, I was so frustrated with an article I read. So to see teachers like you and Greg and keep passing that on and
we try to be, Greg and I, so that whole thing, like that started right before the Vegas conference last year. Like we saw a lot of negative things on social media about teaching, and like ironically it's not teachers who are posting that stuff. Like it's other people who are posting it. And so we just decided like this is ridiculous. We need to take back the conversation. We are the ones in the classrooms, we're the ones in the trenches. We need to own the conversation about education because we are the people who are educating. And so we just decided like, it seems like it all just happened so fast, but it didn't. Like the happy classrooms thing was, oh my gosh, like to try to come up with a hashtag for that was no joke, probably 200 texts back and forth with different hashtags, and we just like didn't like this one, this one's too long, didn't like, and then we came up with happy classrooms. We're like, done, that's the one. And so that was, I think, one of our first Greg and Kayla shows was happy classrooms. I think it was maybe the second show, but I just think that that's really important because we are the people who are in the classrooms. We are the people who need to be telling the story and owning that story about education. And I think like for me, it just helps me be super intentional about finding the positive in every day. Like you might have a rough day in your classroom because that's a reality, but being able to find like that one nugget, like that one good thing that happened every day and using hashtag happy classrooms, that's been really good for me just because it's important to find the positive in every day because there is positive in every day, and it doesn't have to be a big thing. It can be a little thing like this kid finally learned how to tie their shoe. Like this is happy classrooms. Like it can be something little or big. Like everything is shareable because what's ordinary to you might be extraordinary to somebody else. So it's just really important that we share all of those things out.
Very cool. Well, I'll let you go. I look forward to talking to you again. I really do. Thank you.
Yay! Sounds really good. And
I love your attitude. I love your I guess your aura. I don't know. You seem like someone obviously that loves what she does, and I think that's important at this stage in education where education is going. So
thank you so much. Thank you. It's good to chat with you. And if you have more that you need from me, just let me know.
Will do. We'll talk soon.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks so much. You too. Bye.
Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed that interview with Kayla. Like I said, we were just able to bounce ideas off of each other. It was an interview that I wanted to do because this lady, like I said, is just as positive as possibly can be. If nothing else, share it with teachers you know who might be interested in doing a TED Talk, switching to a flexible seating plan, or any of the other things that we talked about. I can't wait to meet Kayla in Vegas this summer, and I hope that you are there at the I Teach K, I Teach 1, and I Teach 2nd conferences as well to meet us. We will talk to you guys soon, but I hope you enjoy that. Check out all the websites listed, mine, teacherslearn2.com, Matt's, freesaloneducation.com, and Kayla's website, topdogteaching.com. I'll see you guys soon on the next episode. Have a good night. Bye.